Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. What's up, you guys? I'm talking about Porsha Williams from Real Housewives of Atlanta. She just does not want to be saved, okay? And Dennis tried it. He tried it. He really, really did. And Porsha was like, What's up? Welcome to the suite, you guys. My name is Tanya, and today we are diving deep into a financial disaster that is playing out in real time on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I know we didn't get a new episode last week, and we're waiting on the episode that's coming up Sunday. But you guys, y'all can fill in right here in this suite, okay? We need to talk. We need to talk about Porsha Williams, her ex-husband, Simon Guobadia, and the absolute mathematical trap that Porsha has found herself in beneath this $7.5 million mansion, okay? We've all watched Porsha celebrate when the judge enforced the prenup and granted her temporary sole possession of this 15,000, you guys, 15,000 square foot house, okay? 15,000 square feet. But beneath all of that, beneath the luxury backdrop lies the brutal reality. Porsha is currently gambling with her long-term wealth on a high-risk, low-reward legal battle. Yeah. I hope that's high vibrational enough for some of y'all, because some of y'all told me my last video was low vibration because I was talking about Angela and if Shamia really let George hit. Y'all go back and watch that because we can get messy here in the suite too. You know that, right? We can get messy. However, today we're going to do something a little more serious. We're going to be breaking down, because I'm multidimensional. You know how hairdressers are. We know a little bit about a lot of things, right? And so we're going to talk about today how the math is absolutely not mathing, okay? We're going to strip away all the reality TV glamour behind that big old house and Porsha winning the prenup and all of that stuff. And we're going to break down exactly what this means for Porsha, the timeline, the crushing weight of this jumbo mortgage that she's having to get in her own name by February of 2027. Yeah, that's how soon it's coming up that Porsha needs to refinance this house. The hidden debt to income ratios and how Porsha's emotional past with her first ex, Kordell Stewart, might have completely blinded her to the $1 million financial mistake that I think she's making. So y'all grab your drinks. I got my wine. Well, actually it's champagne. It's bubbly. Okay. I have my champagne. So y'all grab y'all's drinks or whatever. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and we're going to break down the numbers right after this quick little intro. Everyone knows the best conversations happen in hair salons. And guess what, beauty? It's your appointment time. So grab your drink, grab your wine, grab your friends, and let's talk. My name is Tanya. I'm your host, and this is Sweet Tea. Thank you guys so much for joining me here in the suite. My name is Tanya. This is Sweet Tea. If it's your first time here, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat so that I can welcome you to our community. And if you are returning, put a 2 in the chat so I can tell you, what's up, girl? And thanks for coming back. Y'all know how it goes. Y'all know how it goes down. So let's go ahead and start. Let's start with the ticking clock, okay? So the courts gave Porsha 36 months, a 36-month window from her settlement, from the divorce, okay, to live in the house. Her final deadline, the final deadline for her to refinance this house, as she's been talking about, putting the house in her own name, is February 26th of 2027, okay? By that exact date, she must do two things. Two things. And y'all know that house is a big old something. Big old beautiful house.
So filming in the house must have felt really good.
Yeah, that big old beautiful house. I thought I had a picture of it. Y'all want to see a picture of it? Let me find a picture. Just give me 1 second. Well, never mind. I'm gonna have to go to photos. This is too much. It's too much. Y'all saw the house. The house is beautiful. The house is beautiful. We've been seeing her filming in the house this season. That was a big deal for her to be able to film in the house because she wasn't able to film in it last year because Simon put that what was it? A restraining order on pretty much Bravo cameras to keep her from being able to film in the house, okay? So she has to do two things, you guys, by February of 2027. She has to fully refinance the $7.5 million house into her sole name, or at the very least, she's got to get Simon's name off of the deed, or she's going to have to force a sale of the house. That's what the prenup says, okay? She's got 3 years in the house, and Simon's supposed to be paying the bills for 3 years, and then after that, she'll have to refinance the house into her own name, or they'll have to sell the house and split the equity, okay? Now, that doesn't seem too hard, right? Not for Porsha Williams, not for Miss Porsha Peach Juice Williams, right? She's a boss, so she's owning big time money on our Bravo cameras for Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? But this refinancing is going to be a struggle because, in fact, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare because it is funded by a jumbo mortgage. The size of this mortgage is so large that traditional lenders aren't going to mess with it, okay? For those who don't know what a jumbo mortgage is, it's a loan that exceeds the limits set by your federal housing agencies, okay? So when you're dealing with a $7.5 million property, your loan is what they call non-conforming. That means traditional flexible banking rules fly right out the window. So you got to come with it. You got to have your paperwork in order and those finances got to be right. So jumbo loans have brutal amortization schedules. So in the few years of a massive loan this size, almost 100% of your monthly payments, which in this case are like $40,000 a month, is going strictly towards the bank's interest, property taxes, and insurance. Barely any of it is actually touching the principal balance, okay? Barely any of it. So what that means for Porsha is after 3 years, what that means for Porsha is after 3 years of paying for this house, like she's barely going to build any equity at all. The house was, after 3 years of paying $40,000 a month, she will be paying about $1,485,000 in her monthly mortgage payments. Okay. Of that $1.48 million, only about $147,000 of it is actually going to go towards the principal balance on the house. So that's the only equity that she would have after 3 years, unless the home becomes valued at more than the 7.5 million that she started with. Okay. And so the interest alone in the first 3 years is $1.3 million. Okay. That's a big deal. And I don't know if Porsha did all of that figuring out when she was doing her Porsha math, right? So that's barely anything towards what she's paying is actually touching the balance that she's going to owe, or that she's going to be refinancing in February of 2027. And she keeps talking about this equity. But what I'm trying to explain to y'all, and I wish that someone would have explained to Porsha Peach Juice Williams, is that there will be no equity. There will hardly be any equity for her to split or for her to get, right? After 3 years, because most of what she's paying is going towards interest. Okay. And here is the ultimate trap. And this is where Porsha screwed herself. Under the original agreement, Simon was ordered to pay 100% of the home's expenses, amounting to roughly $40,000 a month. But what happened? We all know. Simon got deported, right? Simon got deported. So with Simon being deported, it is of no gain to Porsha. And while the rumors were going around that Porsha may have called ICE on him, it really didn't benefit her at all. And she explained that to us during the reunion, season 16.
What?
They think you called ICE on Simon.
I mean, they think it's funny, but it does not benefit me for him to be detained.
That's funny.
This would be done and moving on if that were the case.
Baby, if Simon said, I'll never come back to America again, he could avoid paying all of this, right? Unless the courts in America can somehow get him deported. But even then, it's not a criminal case. This is a civil case, right? So I'm not sure if you could even deport somebody, or not deport, but what do they call it when you have somebody brought in? Like when they do a crime in another area and then you have to have them sent back to where they came from. I forget the word. It's not deported. Extradited. Maybe it's extradited. Anyways, I don't know if they do that in civil cases, okay? So since Simon was arrested by ICE and officially deported to Nigeria, once he was outside the U.S. or once he was off of U.S. soil, he completely cut off the funds, right? He stopped paying the mortgage. He stopped paying the taxes, and he left Porsha holding the bag. So if Porsha didn't step in to pay that $40,000 a month note out of pocket, the bank would have been foreclosed on that house, especially by now, because it's been like a year and a half, right? So they would have been foreclosed on the house by now. So she is single-handedly paying that note out of pocket. Yeah. She is single-handedly having to pay that note just to keep this asset alive. And she talked about that during this season. Every time she makes a payment, she reduces the debt, right? And she builds equity. But because Simon is still on the deed, she is technically building equity for him as well. But what Porsha is hoping is that Simon not adhering to his end of the prenup and paying the bills themselves would reduce his equity and she would get her money back, right? Seems logical. But to fund this, Porsha made a massive gamble. Massive, okay? She listed her completely safe Duluth, an independently owned Duluth property, her Duluth mansion that was a whole 7,000 square feet itself. So that wasn't no little matchbox, okay? And she listed that home for $1.8 million. And it closed quickly in an all-cash deal for 1.65, okay? 1.65. Let's see.
If I can sell a $2 million asset, make $1 million, keep the $7 million asset, take out its equity, we're making smart business decisions.
According to Porsha, she really thinks that. So y'all keep in mind, her mom, Miss Diane, was living in that house, right? Porsha gave her mom that house when she and Simon got together, and she bought that house. It was like her first purchase after Kordell. So, I just think it was a mistake for her to sell it personally.
Last time that I'll be visiting my mom at this house.
I mean, who knew the house would get so many offers? And I mean, what's like 2 weeks? She got a all cash offer.
What I tell you is crazy. I mean, these people are ready to come in here like next month.
So while Porsha is simplifying it on camera, she's simplifying the math on camera for us, y'all. Making $1 million in profit. The reality of it is she liquidated her ultimate financial safety net just to pour cash into Simon's toxic jumbo loan. Okay. It was not worth it. It was totally not worth it. And I showed y'all that. I showed you guys how she's spending all of this money on this home, and it's barely reducing the principal. It's barely producing the principal at all. Because the Duluth house sold so fast, Porsha had to rapidly pack her mother, Miss Diane, up, who was living there. And Miss Diane moved into the Sandy Springs mansion, y'all. Miss Diane came over there with her pepperoni pizza to eat on Simon's white couch over there to that big.
So filming in the house must have felt really good.
So Miss Diane moved in with Porsha and Pilar, right? And so she moved in with Porsha and Pilar. And y'all, Simon wasn't having it. Simon was not having it. Simon was like, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Okay. I did not sign up to take care of Porsha and her mama. So his legal team immediately lost their minds. They went to court claiming that Porsha didn't even really need the mansion and was forcing Simon to subsidize the lifestyle of her and her extended family, right? But Porsha's inner circle knew, they saw the real danger, and Porsha admitted that on camera.
What's going on?
So the divorce settled not long ago. I just listed my mom's house. People had to say about, well, why are you doing that to keep this? And just let this go. But this is where I get the money that I put out back.
Porsha is so hell-bent on getting the money that she put out back, when the reality of it is she didn't have to put out no money from the beginning if she would have let that house go at the time of the divorce. But it was about something else. And we're going to get into that a little bit later in the video. Y'all, this video will not be very long, so try to stay to the end. Go ahead and thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I would really appreciate it as we grow this community. As you guys see, my videos come with receipts. Go ahead and take a look at the whole library of videos I have up there for y'all. And I hope you guys find something that resonates with you all and that you guys like and keeps you all coming back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Porsha's ex-fiance, Dennis, saw right through all of this shit. Dennis saw right through it. Dennis is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He saw right through this strategy, and he gave her a massive reality check. So Dennis, you know, he don't hold his words. Dennis, like, he warned her not to sell that Duluth house. He told her that the Duluth house was her only true fallback plan if the legal war with Simon turned catastrophic, right? And she could very well lose it, because one thing about Simon, he don't care. He's not opposed to breaking the law. He was all up in America, been in America since 1983, okay, on and off illegally. You think he cares about owing Porsha some money in America when he can stay in Nigeria? He can be over there in what's Dubai? He loves Dubai, you know, Costa Rica. Simon be everywhere, okay? He's not worried about coming back to America's soil and paying Porsha Williams this money. So for Dennis, who has more interest because of his daughter Pilar, it was all about residential stability for his child, right? And so, you know, in Porsha draining this secure asset to fight a deported ex over a heavily toxic mansion puts their child's stability and living situation at risk. So Dennis had a plan. Unfortunately, Porsha didn't get it. She did not get it. Dennis tried to give Porsha back her engagement ring. This ring right here. Okay, let's look at it. This is Porsha's ring. Porsha's ring. Am I muted? Probably. Y'all, Porsha's ring itself is valued at $750,000. $750,000. Keep in mind, Porsha paying these house notes for 3 years is about almost $1.5 million, right? So $750,000 would have been a big chunk of that, where Porsha wouldn't have even had to, she could have took that $750,000 ring and sold that bad boy and paid off her Duluth house and had that house paid off free and clear. So when Dennis tried to hand Porsha back her ring, I don't think she got it.
So I brought your ring back today. Here you go.
What is this supposed to mean?
I waited around to see if we can maybe, but I can't do nothing with it.
Y'all, Dennis did not propose to Porsha again. He said, I waited around to see what's going to happen, but I can't do nothing with it, right? It's not like I can't give it to nobody else, so I'll just give it back to you. No, what he's saying is, we're not going to get back together for me to propose to you again. And I'm just have this ring that I'm doing nothing with. So take this ring and liquidate this jewelry for cash, okay? If you need to, but do not touch your real estate safety net in the home that my daughter has. That's what he was saying to her. Unfortunately, y'all know Porsha didn't get it. Y'all know Porsha didn't get it. She literally did not get it.
With your ankle huggers. Keep the ring. Give it to Pilar.
We clearly need to go to therapy because you obviously
we're not going there. Well, co-parent therapy, there's no co-parent therapy. For the sake of Pilar.
Did you hear what he said? As he was tapping the ring box, as he was tapping the ring box, he said, we need to go to therapy because it's obvious you don't know what's going on. He's talking about, you don't know that I'm giving you this ring back so that you can sell it and pay off your Duluth home and my child could have a permanent residence. Because while you're running her around between relationship and relationship, we don't know where you're going to be come February. Her sister Lauren had the exact same fears, frustrated that Porsha was draining her cash into a legal nightmare instead of investing it in her empire, like Go Naked Hair, Pampered by Porsha, all of those things, right? And keep in mind, Lauren works for Porsha. So Lauren probably thinking, Heifer, you about to sell your damn house? And you could be paying me more? And I'm running around here behind you like a lapdog for God knows how little or how much. And you about to sell your house? Last time you ended up homeless, right? You would think she would learn from her mistakes, right? You would think she would learn. And her inner circle was right. They were right. Porsha was right. Whoever else, Dennis was right. So let's do the real math on what happens by February 2027. Okay. I told y'all what's going to happen. But keep this in mind too. Keep in mind, Simon's attorney done put a lien on the house for $200 and something thousand. And the research that I did showed that there was 3 liens on the house. 3, count them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 liens on this house. So if Porsha does refinance this house or try to sell this home, those people, those lien holders got to get all their money first. And this amounts to like $600,000 in liens. So when you do the math, when you actually do the math here, okay, the house was $7.5 million. The payments that she's paid over 3 years is going to reduce. She's paid will have paid almost $1.5 million over 3 years in mortgage payments, taxes, and insurance. Okay. That doesn't even include utilities for that big, massive house, pool upkeep, all that stuff, right? The principal balance, out of that $7.5 million, it would have only been reduced by $147,000, right? Minus the real estate fees. I don't think that she thought about the realtor fees on a home that size. It's going to be about $450,000, okay? And minus the 3 liens on the house that is over $600,000. Porsha Butt's going to be in the hole almost $1 million, $900,000 by the time this shit is over. By the time these 3 years is over, Porsha could realistically be in the hole almost $1 million. It don't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense, you guys. So you ask yourself, why is she doing this? Why is Porsha doing this, right? What is the big deal about Porsha and this house? Why would she risk her child's security? Why would she risk her mother, okay, being put out on the street? Because you think Simon gonna give a shit if it come down to it about putting Miss Diane out? He's not gonna give a damn about putting Miss Diane out of that house, right? At all. Nor will he give a damn about putting Pilar out. Because remember when Porsha said that she had Pilar, or she texted him and said that Pilar was asking where Pop was or whatever, and Simon left her on red? He don't give a shit about Pilar, just like he don't care about Fallon's previous children or the other previous stepchildren he had, okay? Simon does not care about Porsha Williams. And according to Simon, he feels like the prenup shouldn't have even been enforced because Porsha married him he married Porsha under false pretense, and Porsha misrepresented who she was, okay? Because He thinks that Porsha set him up, married him with this prenup to divorce him and get her money. That's what Simon thinks. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments what y'all think about Simon's side of this, okay? So let's get back to why this is not even making financial sense for Miss Porsha Williams. Lord have mercy. So y'all, even if the home organically appreciates over the next few months, right? Think about a standard 5 to 6% real estate commission. I just told y'all about that. That's $7.5 million commission on $7.5 million. Okay. It's going to be like 400 and something $1,000. And that's completely wiped out off the top instantly. That transaction cost completely erases any tiny bit of principal that Porsha is paying down right now. And there is mathematically nothing left to gain. Literally, there's nothing left for Porsha to gain. Which brings us to the underwriting nightmare. Okay. In order for Porsha to keep this house past February of 2027, Porsha has to qualify for a jumbo mortgage by herself. Banks look strictly at your debt to income ratio. They take your recurring monthly debts and divide them by your gross monthly income. To qualify for a loan this size, the bank doesn't care if you're a top star on Bravo or even a top tier owner on Bravo, because guess what? That income isn't secure. That income is contractual. You may have that income today and not tomorrow. And they want to see massive amounts of money in the bank because most of the time you have to have 6 times your monthly notes in the bank. So if those notes are $40,000, Porsha's got to have $240,000 cash in her bank liquid in order to qualify for this mortgage, which that shouldn't be a problem for Porsha, right? Her biggest problem is going to come in the stable job. The stable job. And the clouds that are on the title, the liens on this title, you guys. Banks don't want to give loans out for homes that have liens against them. That's going to have to be cleared out first. So it may come to where the home is not necessarily worth what it's going to take for Porsha to purchase it, what it's going to take for her to finance the entire value of the house, right? And so right now, the house has 3 active financial liens on it, including a massive $205,000 lien filed by Simon's divorce lawyer for unpaid legal fees. That motherfucker. He said, I'm not paying you nothing. Take it out the equity of that house. How about that? While Porsha thinks she's going to be getting equity and earning equity on me, take my bill out that house. That's like saying checkmate, checkmate. So no lender on earth is going to approve a solo jumbo refinance for Porsha unless those 6-figure debts are completely paid off. How's she going to do that? So what happens if she misses the February 26th, 2027 deadline? The court triggers immediate legal consequences, and they are brutal, y'all. Let me tell you. They include mandatory eviction. Porsha, Miss Diane, and Pilar will be legally forced to vacate that property immediately. Forced petition, they could also force the sale of the property. The court can take control of the house and put it on the open market for a forced liquidation. The escrow agent will automatically deduct the attorney's fees and realtor fees from the sale price. Whatever pennies are left over will be split 50-50 between Porsha and Simon. Yeah. And like I told y'all, she could potentially be in the hole over $900,000. If that happens, y'all, Porsha loses the mansion. She loses her equity. And she no longer has the home in Duluth that she sold in order to free up funds to attempt to keep the mansion. Now, we have to ask the ultimate question. How did Porsha Peach Juice Williams, a self-made businesswoman, let herself get backed into a financial corner like this? other than looking for the coins, looking for a rich African, okay? So to understand Porsha's mindset, you have to look at her past relationships, right? So years ago, during her highly publicized divorce from Kordell Stewart, Kordell completely stuck it to Porsha, completely stuck it to her.
You walked away from a lot.
Kordell, pack my stuff up like I'm some random. Karma has a name, and that name is bitch. And it's gonna get him. It's gonna fight him in that big bubble butt. And in this case, I was smart enough to do a prenup to do it the right.
Yeah. Porsha says she was smart enough to do a prenup because she's a mother. She has to protect Pilar. But she married a scammer. You married a scammer, Porsha. That prenup is, while the prenup is enforced, the terms of it ain't worth the paper they written on. Because Simon is a scammer. He just, and he done been deported. He not worried about these courts here in the USA. He's not worried about that. And Dennis tried to save you, but you don't want to be saved. You don't want to be saved because you walked away from that marriage with Kordell with essentially nothing. No alimony, no real estate, completely blindsided. And she spoke openly about that and how traumatizing that was. Y'all remember that? Porsha had to move in with Miss Diane, right? So the Duluth home that she just sold was her very first purchase, her very first big purchase after her divorce. And it was like, and she bought it with her own money. It was a symbol of her independence, of new beginnings, right? So when things fell apart with Simon, Porsha seemed hell-bent on making sure history didn't repeat itself and she didn't look silly in front of the world. However, I don't know if she's making her point. Because she wasn't just trying to like settle the divorce. She was trying to completely stick it to Simon in a way she couldn't do to Kordell, right? She wanted a total victory of making a wealthy man fund her lifestyle and take care of her and her family for 3 years rent-free. But ironically, that exact desire to win the breakup and the divorce is what has created this financial trap for Porsha.
This was the home I raised Pilar in. This is the home that I thought my mother was going to be in for the rest of her time. And having to make these decisions at this moment on the emotional side is a little difficult.
Yeah, you're making emotional decisions, not necessarily financially driven decisions or mathematically driven decisions, right? Or intelligent driven decisions. So, y'all, but if she hadn't been driven by emotions and the need to take Simon for everything he had, she could have forced an immediate sale of the marital home back in July of 2025 when they divorced, right? Simon's attorney's liens wouldn't be tied to the house and they wouldn't be her problem. She would have pocketed her half of any equity at that time, right? And she would have kept her Duluth home, paid off its remaining mortgage, could have did that with the ring Dennis is offering her, and ensured permanent stability for Pilar and Miss Diane. But that ain't what she did.
With your ankle huggers. Keep the ring. Give it to Pilar.
We clearly need to go to therapy because you obviously
we're not
not
going
understanding what's going on.
Well, co-parent therapy, there's no co-parent therapy. For the sake of Pilar.
She don't get it. She really does not get it. And Dennis is trying his best to save this girl, but she don't want to be saved, right? He's trying to give her the ring, like, sell this damn ring. I can't do nothing with it. We not getting back together. It's just sitting on my dresser and it's worth $750,000. Sell this damn ring and go get yourself out of this mess and be free and clear of this Negro. Instead, she traded a guaranteed asset for a legal battle with Simon. That's what it is, point blank. All to prove a point and to save face in front of the public. Right? But what do you guys think? Because at the end of last episode, Porsha said probably the smartest thing I've ever heard Porsha say. And I was like, and to you guys at the reunion last year, she explained too that this is really all she got out of the marriage.
Bought the home prior to us getting married, and the prenup has certain stipulations, which makes it a marital home. Whether I decide to keep it or sell it, I still want to be able to maintain it because that's the only thing that I have in a divorce that I was, that it was important.
Somebody call Porsha and show her this graphic. Somebody call Porsha, tell her to get that ring back from Dennis, show her this graphic, and get your ass up out that house and leave it alone, okay? But at the end of last episode, when they left us without an episode for this coming up week, well, for last week, the end of last episode, y'all, Porsha said the smartest thing I've ever heard her say, and I just hope like hell she means it.
So filming in the house must have felt really good.
The house, you have to ask God to deliver you from a property and know that home is with you and your kids. So if Pilar and I don't end up in that house, who cares?
Amen. Amen, Porsha. That's the smartest thing you ever said, and I hope like hell you mean it, right? But what do y'all think? Do you guys think that Porsha can pull off a miracle and refinance the house by February 2027? Or did Dennis McKinley get this one completely right? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, you guys. And I will see y'all next time here in the suite. Thank you so much for joining me, beautiful people. Peace out. See y'all next time. Bye.